didn't know my wife existed, had no idea. Really, as you already know, getting married was the last thing on my mind. I had really given up on the idea of getting married, to be honest with you, based on some past relationships and where I was emotionally. I just really wasn't even open, to the idea of even finding a wife. And as I alluded to earlier, got in contact with Pastor Johnson. He invited me out, and I noticed a young lady that was working, that was taking up the money, taking up the collection, and going to the back, and I was pretty awestruck, to say the least. Definitely awestruck, and I waited for a good while to approach her, because I just wanted to be sure that I was in order. The church was one place that I had peace of mind, because even though I was coming regularly, I hadn't really completely started living a right life, so I didn't necessarily have a lot of peace of mind. Money was tight, and so I wanted to be sure my money was straight, and just there's certain things went in order. Kind of hard to ask somebody to go out with you. You can't afford to pay for the meal. So just wanted to be sure that everything was right with Kefentse first. And once I got that right, through a stroke of chance, and I'm going to say just God put his hand on it, an avenue opened up, and while I was able to be introduced, so to speak. And so at least she found out who I was. And I think maybe a week after that introduction, I asked her out, and we went, had a meal, good meal, good conversation. It was still, everybody was meeting their representative, but even in the conversation, I could tell that, we had a certain kinship, and she was definitely somebody I wanted to see again. And our second date is when things really started to change. We went out the following week, and we met up after church. Pastor Johnson actually let us out on time. And we met up at the restaurant. I think we met up about, it was like 12:30. We met at 12:30, and we laughed and talked and had a good time. And we didn't leave the restaurant until 7:30. We left about 7:30.
That's a good second date.
Yeah, it's a real good second date. And so we dated for, when that day lasted about, just at the restaurant, lasted 7 hours, just laughing and talking and just having a good time. And after that 7-hour date, or 7-hour dinner, neither one of us really wanted to go anywhere. We wanted to keep it going, so we just sat, talked even after that. And I think I finally made it home about 12 o'clock, almost 1 o'clock, and, just enjoying each other's company, And the funny thing about it, considering my lifestyle at the time, you would think that it was, it would be some kind of sex involved, considering the type of lifestyle that I was living. But the funny thing about it, that where I knew it was something that sex never even crossed my mind. So I knew right then and there that it was something special about it, and I needed to explore it and see what it was about. So from then on, we've been inseparable. And I found out, got a clear word from God at the prayer vigil that she was my wife. Before we left the prayer vigil, when we initially started before we did the initial 1-year anniversary back in September, before we left the prayer vigil, God spoke to me clearly. He said, and told me that I needed to go pray with my wife. And I thought I was kind of tripping at first, but he reaffirmed it, said, you need to go pray with your wife. And so I went and grabbed her hand and prayed with her, and talk to us some more about what I was thinking, because it caught up completely off guard. But so we talked about it, and as everybody knows, the rest is kind of history. The rest is history. So here we are.
Proposal.
Yeah. The proposal was pretty thick. The proposal was definitely an event that I'll remember. That was. I can't say it was completely impromptu, because of course I had to get clearance from Pastor Johnson to even do that. But I didn't have a script or anything like that. I didn't have anything written down, so I was like, okay, well, Pastor gave me the go ahead, and I figure if I'm doing it in the house of God, it can't help but to be blessed. So I took my chances. And like what she said, yeah.